So you've had a lot of folks. You've had a lot of folks sitting here, meeting with or having phone calls with regarding to Vice President Kamala Harris. Numerous calls: black women, black men, white women, South Asian women. I mean, Irish for Harris. Now you got Evangelicals for Harris. They're going to have a major Zoom call beginning at 7 p.m. Eastern. More than 60,000 of them are going to be on that particular call. A lot of these folks who used to support Republican candidates. They also released a new ad featuring a clip of an interview where Donald Trump says he doesn't ask God for forgiveness.
Have you been to the cross and said, Lord, I have sinned. I'm sorry for my sin. I'm willing to change my way of life.
Have you ever asked God for forgiveness? That's a tough question. I'm not sure I have. I don't bring God into that picture. I don't.
See, what I find to be interesting here, they can even roll the video, Robert, of Donald Trump even talking about how, oh, yeah, I don't want to name my favorite Bible. I just, that's personal. That's personal. You know, but he talks about everything else. I mean, so bottom line is, I mean, these white conservative evangelicals, they know he's a fraud, but he gave them what they wanted, and they made a deal with the devil, and he was like, fine, you guys want to get rid of Roe v. Wade? I got it. You want these Federalist Society judges? I'm going to reward you with that. That's what's going on here. And so this is not about morality. This is not about principles. This is not about ethics. They don't care about any of that. This is raw power.
Oh, it absolutely is. Just think about the fact that Joe Biden has gone to church more than any president in American history. He is a devout Catholic. He is in church every single week. And yet it's still white Christian evangelicals who support Donald Trump, who, I remind them, has 5 kids by 3 baby mamas, who's been found liable for sexual assault, who's been convicted of 34 felonies, who's facing 100 felony charges. And if I did a commercial for the campaign addressing this issue, I would just play the video from the Republican convention this year, where you open it up with Amber Rose, a softcore porn star, as one of the keynote speakers during prime time. You follow that up with Matt Gaetz, who's a pedophile, who had, well, actually, technically, he would be a hebephile. Pedophile like small children, a hebephile like middle-aged children, and then a hebephile, like somebody who's a barely legal, let's say. That's Matt Gaetz, just to be technical at things. You have, who else was there? You have Dana White and Hulk Hogan, both of which who beat their wives. You have Rudy Giuliani, who's been convicted of fraud and fallen out drunk in the aisle. And just ask Christians, is this the party that you want to be part of? The party of Kid Rock, the party of that no longer believes in family, no longer believes in biblical values, but believes that somehow the most important issue facing America is whether or not transgender people get to play sports or not. I mean, it's a ridiculous party. This is why that weird attack has been so effective against Republicans, because they find weird things to fixate on as Christians. Now, when it comes to feeding and housing the poor, absolutely not. When it comes to doing something about bringing biblical principles back to our budgeting and having a budget that really supports the downtrodden in this country, no, nothing at all. But when it comes to judging people in their lives, that's when it kicks in. So I think if you just simply start appealing directly to, and I think black clergy will have a big part in this, uniting around what it actually means to be a Christian, helping people, not simply judging people, I think the Harris campaign can start picking off those votes. And again, and she wins the upper Midwest, she wins North Carolina and Georgia, that's the election, and that's the coalition she has to build.
Jolanda. I mean, Jolanda, you see that in Houston. You've got crazy, deranged Ed Young, Second Baptist Church, who said all kind of wild, ridiculous, shameful things, attacking Democrats. He had Roy Moore in his church. He's out there endorsing Donald Trump. And these people, I mean, come on. What the hell kind of Christianity is this?
It's the kind of Christianity where you don't want to tell people you anti-black, so you're going to say you like pro-God or something. It doesn't make any kind of sense, but that's what they do. And they've shoved the Bible aside, and specifically with Donald Trump, he don't even know the Bible, which is why he can't give no Bible verses. But it's hypocrisy at its best, and it's hard for people who are logical people, who are thinking people, who are Christian people to understand how the Republicans can do mental gymnastics to somehow try to say that Donald Trump is the epitome of a Christian. And that's what stated earlier. You know, he's a baby daddy. He ain't faithful to his wife. Like literally every commandment he's broken. And he doesn't. I mean, when we think back to Jesus, Jesus walked amongst those who needed the most prayer. That is not what Donald Trump does. Donald Trump is with the most high of high. In fact, billionaires high, which none of us can even imagine that a billionaire has like $1,000 million. So everything about him is counter-Christian. And I don't, again, try to even understand people who are not meant to be understood and who are illogical and irrational. And the bottom line is they cannot stand that a Black woman is doing what she's doing. And so all they're going to do is cry, Christianity, Christianity, Christianity. It's a lie. And we will not be fooled. We just won't.
And what you have here, you have these evangelicals. A number of them are conservative. We had Pastor Dwight McKissick on last night from Arlington, Texas, Scott. And they're tired of Donald Trump attacking people, berating people, the language that he uses. And so that's why I think you're seeing these evangelicals. And let's be real clear. White conservatives do not own the word evangelical. But a number of these people are former voters of Trump and Republicans who say they're just tired of dealing with this man and how he talks and how he harangues people.
Yeah, it's not Christian-like. It's not Christian-based values. But there's a broader issue here, and I agree with everything my colleagues say. But there's a broader issue here. Polling told us over the last year that America did not want a rematch of Biden-Trump. And while we were forcing it down their throats what have you, Biden decided to step back. One of the most politically selfless acts, and facing reality, of course, and brought us and enabled Kamala Harris to lead the ticket, if you will. And what you're seeing is most of America is in the middle. Most of America is not MAGA. Trump can't get above 46, 47%. Most of America is not progressive left. It's in the middle. And so when you see black, white, yellow, and brown for Harris, when you see white evangelicals or evangelicals for Harris, and you see Asian men for Harris, all these groups, because they've been starving for leadership. They don't like Donald Trump. They didn't like Biden because of his age, but because they didn't believe he could fill out the term. And she cures all those defects, not just for the Democratic Party, but all of America. And so you see this groundswell of support because they've rejected Trump in the majority every time he's run and rejected the Republican GOP over the last, 2020, 2022, and they're going to reject him again in 2024, I think. And so that's what you're seeing, really. They're hypocrites. The evangelicals are great. They've been completely politicized, so they have no credibility whatsoever. But what you're seeing is America responding to a new choice, a younger choice, a fresher choice. And really, nobody's talking about it being history-making, but it really is. Every time he attacks her, every time they attack whether she's got her own kids or not, they're attacking every woman in America. That's why you're seeing this groundswell of support. Whether they agree with her policies or not, they trust her. They have faith in her. And they really do want a new day in America and hope and all these other things. Because all you're getting from the Republicans is negative and dystopian views. That's all you're getting. And America still has the greatest economy in the world. It still treats immigration with humanity. And most of Americans agree with that a woman should have their own choice. The groundswell of support for Kamala Harris is the manufacturing of all of those interests for creating a coalition of decency.
And Roland, just Just real quick, I want people to remember that after Donald Trump survived his assassination attempt, after the bullet whizzed past his head, many people thought that that was God saving his life and giving him an opportunity to turn over a new leaf. And we heard all the commentators say, well, at the convention next week, he's going to come out and he's going to unite America. We're not going to see the same anger, not the same hatred, not the same fear. We're going to see a reborn Donald Trump. And at that time, he was at the apex of his political power. God had taken Biden out of the race for him, giving him a free runway to the White House. But God don't like ugly. And when Donald Trump came back out and basically thumbed his nose at the God Almighty by saying that I do not need your salvation, I'm the one who survived that bullet. I turned my head and that's the reason I'm alive. I didn't need you the whole time. God took it all away from him. And that's what you people need to understand. I don't care who you are. Hubris is what has brought down every empire in world history. And what brought down the Trump campaign was him thinking that he could work in absolution and flout God and somehow still have his favor. And what we see in the drop of a hat, overnight, 3 weeks, he went from being a shoe-in, a 90% chance of winning in some betting odds, now to being almost certain to lose this election. I think that's a lesson people can take from this.
When you talk about blackness and what happens in black culture, we're about covering these things that matter to us, speaking to our issues and concerns.
This is a genuine people-powered movement.
There's a lot of stuff that we're not getting. You get it, and you spread the word.
We wish to plead our own cause. Too long have others spoken for us. We cannot tell our own story if we can't pay for it. This is about covering us. Invest in black-owned media. Your dollars matter. We don't have to keep asking them to cover our stuff. So please support us in what we do, folks. We want to hit 2,000 people, $50 this month, raise $100,000. We're behind 100,000, so we want to hit that. Y'all money makes this possible. Check some money orders. Go to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. The Cash App is $RM Unfiltered. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle is Roland at RolandSMartin.com.